So I finally got the Chimera V2 Zippy Spring Latch Spacers. If you get these, make sure you follow his video for the installation because it's a bit, I wouldn't say finicky, but there's a lot of moving parts to this. It's quite literally a latch, and a latch that also not only moves this way, but this way. One, yeah, it's spring latches. Isn't that cool? A real spring latch. Uh, this is a real spring latch. I finally got this back on. If you squeeze this, papoo. And this spring latch is held together by, as you can maybe see, yeah, you can kind of get that scene. There's a spring in here, and that spring is held onto this, and then, you know, the torque. You're literally pulling this spring back like. So it maintains its position pretty consistently. This is the Benchmade 42, which is pretty famous. However, it is also like an older knife, and so spring latches are fun in that you just give them a squeeze. You give them a squeeze, and they flick out. Flipping one, it's very handle biased without the latch. It's very imbalanced with the latch, but I figured, hey, this is more of a collector's item than a flipper. So I just put the latch back on, and like I don't like really enjoy flipping it without the latch on, let alone with the latch on. So I prefer to keep the latch on, mostly just because it's like it's a spring latch. Now the Chimera, to reiterate, is what's interesting about the Chimera is that it is a retractable latch. All Chimeras have a retractable latch. My Chimera V2 is a retractable latch, and I now have zippy spacers for a spring latch, which means that if you squeeze this, it bounces a little bit. It's not super consistent. It's like it will bounce to like a varying degree of like how far does it bounce. Um, Let's see. And part of it is like maybe I need to loosen this. Like I keep like tightening it and loosening it. I'm like, is this supposed to help it bounce more? Is this going to help it bounce less? I'm like, I feel like, oh, it's not bouncing as much as I want. And it's quite literally just there's no spring. So it's a spring latch in big quotes. Sorry, let me just get this latch a little loosened. It is also advised that if you are installing, have a glider bit holder or some other type of thingy. So, batooey, yeah, and then you can just push it down like that. What the frick? I swear to God, this is supposed to fit better. Okay, so what can I say about this? I am legitimately not sure if these plastic spacers. So, like, okay, if you look on the Zippy website, which I will pull up right now, the spring latch one, he has flushed spacers that go all the way to the end, and they reduce the weight from 4.63 to 4.49. So basically, 0.14 ounces lighter. The spring latch makes it from 4.63 to 4.6. So it's 0.03 ounces lighter. This is, however, for the G10 version. And carbon fiber is lighter than G10. I was hesitant to get I was like, I know that Zippy had like spacers that balance out the safe handle with the bite handle, which is really great and cool. But I also really like how carbon fiber looks. But then I realized that it was a spring latch and that there's jimping. I knew about the jimping, but I was just like, it became more and more like, ooh, I should get these. And I like these. They're good. And I do feel that sort of balance. Like it does feel flipping from the safe handle, or sorry, from the bite handle, the safe handle actually feels really neutral. The bite handle still feels kind of handle biased, and I do still have all three tungsten balls in. I don't think removing any of them is going to help. I was wondering if because carbon fiber is lighter, but at the same time, it's still like, oh, you're like the latches have like I have to use both. Otherwise, it's like the safe handle has tungsten balls to counterweight the latch, and the bite handle side has the spring. And it's only like when I say spring, it's literally just like the plastic here it's sort of springy. It gives, and that like you can see this part dip down. This is the spring part. It's not super. It's not super like tight in any way. I actually like. I'm wondering if like I keep wondering like, do I need to tighten this? And he uses the stock latch to help determine whether or not he needs to tighten it. I probably will finagle with it more off camera, but like, yeah, it's well made, and I don't know. Every Zippy product I have been more or less happy with. So this is now like, in my opinion, an even more of an EDC-able knife. It's very elegant and sleek. The retractable latch makes it easy to flip with. The spring latch makes it easier to open. You still need to. You can't. It doesn't pull like I originally thought it did with the DC Symphony. But yeah, you get the spring latch. You push it down. Get to do whatever fucking knife things you need, because this is a sharp fucking knife. Let me tell you. And then when you're done with it, you theoretically could try and do this one-handed, but honestly, it's just easier to do two hands. Zippy also does say that when you are storing this long term, you don't like it's tested so that the springiness is it's not losing its springiness, but it is possible for the plastics like integrity to degrade if it's kept in the bent position for long periods of time. I store my knives on this rack here, and so when I hang it up like this, it's hanging up with the latch retracted. If it is in my case, which you can see behind me, I have it. I can't. I usually just latch it, or it's like not a big deal, but it's I put it in like this. So yeah. And the jimping. Let's talk about the jimping real quick. The jimping on the outside is nice. The jimping on the inside is almost non-existent because of just how much the blade comes in. On the safe side, no, actually, okay. So on the bite side, you have like 4 ridges here. On the safe side, you have like 2. It's funny. There's technically jimping here, but it has to, of course, clear the blade. This is not Zippy's fault again. Any critique I give about this is it's the product is good. It's just how do I feel about the product? Like how do I feel about it? How like he puts a lot of work into these, and I think if anyone does legitimately have any problems, he's got great customer service. So the jimping does make it feel slightly more safe to ladder. Emphasis on slightly. But I do feel safer laddering it because at least with the positive jimping as it pokes up, if I'm laddering this fucking long, again, this is a knife that is as long or slightly longer than the Serif. If I'm laddering, at least if it's sliding, I do catch on the positive jimping, which extends slightly out. So yeah, I just wanted to make a video specifically of this one product. The Chimera, again, has become one of my favorite Balisongs. It is just, I honestly just think it's gorgeous and elegant and unique in its construction, not just because of the latch, but because of the titanium scales over the G10 / carbon fiber liners. I just think it's a good knife. I was always interested in it before. When I first saw it introduced, I was also introduced in purple, and I was like, whoa. But I didn't get one for a while, and so I finally borrowed one, and then that made me go, yeah, okay, I need one of these. And let it be known, I think this knife is really fucking good, and the Zippy spacers, like I do again, I like how carbon fiber looks. It was all carbon fiber, but like the spring latch is just so nice. You can again get flushed spacers if you don't want your latch, and yeah, some people might just want the Chimera because they want a long fucking beautiful knife, and heavier than a Machine-Wise knife. And yeah, there's no judgment on my part if you want to remove the latch and just get the flush spacers, but I just think the latch is such a unique thing and so cool, and the springified version of it, it's just like, yeah, I don't know, here I am doing my knife things, and now when I'm done, actually, I don't know. If you're gripping it and you're doing knife things, yeah, I sprung it out. But anyways, I gotta say, it's a great knife. It's a great mod. You are using fewer screws over here. So I'm now going to put my carbon fiber scales and all this extra hardware in a little baggie. But yeah, if you are interested in these, I will link both the Chimera page from Hom as well as the Zippy store page for the spacers. Uh, Let me know what you think in the comments, because again, this is one of my, this knife is becoming one that, like, the more I look at it, the more I flip it, the more I interact with it, the more I am satisfied and happy, and I just feel good, you know? I'm very satisfied with this knife, and that is something that is not true for every Balisong I flipped. So I'm just really grateful for this. Let me know your thoughts in the comment. Click the like button, subscribe, tell your dad. Tell your dad hi. I always say tell your mom hi, but tell your dad hi. How is he doing? Is he staying hydrated? I hope he's not, overworking. My dad keeps pushing himself. He's like 64 now. I'm like, you gotta work less hard when you're fucking raking leaves, man. Anyways, and also check out the coffee in the description. Donate a little bit. It helps me cover. I buy these all out of pocket. None of this is sponsored. Zippy, if you want to sponsor me. All right, bye. Zippy, sponsor me if you want, like.